On November 11th, 1918, the main combatants of World War I reached an armistice, effectively ending the war. 1 year later, on November 11th, 1919, President Wilson proclaimed the first commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations." A congressional act in 1938 made the 11th of November in each year a legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. In 1954, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day. South Newton School Corporation is proud to recognize Veterans Day with a celebration to honor America's veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Smith. I'm the principal at South Newton High School. I would like to welcome you to South Newton School Corporation's 2021 Veterans Day program. We are very proud to offer readings and performances by our elementary, middle, and high school students during this presentation. On Veterans Day, we take time to honor our community members who have made countless sacrifices in their personal lives to serve our great nation, locally, nationally, and internationally. Today, we will also be sharing stories of local veterans collected by our interactive media class under the guidance of Mr. Joseph Keller. I would like to thank Mr. Keller and his class for producing this presentation, but most of all, I would like to thank these veterans for sharing their part in history with us. Please enjoy the program.
Veterans Day by Cheryl Dyson.
On Veterans Day, we honor all
who answered to a service call.
Soldiers young and soldiers old,
fought for freedom brave and bold.
Some have lived while others died,
and all of them deserve our pride.
We're proud of all the soldiers who
kept on thinking of red, white, and blue.
They fought for us and all our rights.
They fought through many days and nights.
And though we may not know each name,
we thank all veterans just the same.
Remember our veterans.
No, I was in Vietnam as an advisor. There was 92 second lieutenants, flew over an airplane, and all the rest of them got American unit assignments. And there was two of us that I think were very, very fortunate because I got assigned to MACV, which is Advisors Corps, and went to language school in Saigon for a couple of weeks, and then got shipped out to 4 Corps, which is down the Delta. And you know, that hasn't been as glorious as other parts of Vietnam during a war, but I was an advisor down there and to a village. So it'd be the equivalent of, I worked with the mayor of Kentland, okay? Only as the mayor of this village chief rather. And our purpose there was to help them with their military tactics, ambushes, security, finding arms for them. But we were right at the time in Vietnam when we were training the Vietnamese to take over and so we could leave. And being that far down in Vietnam, we kind of got last choice of the dinner plate as far as supplies and stuff. So we did a lot of trading with the Navy. And I was trading, meaning we traded war artifacts that we captured for weapons and ammunition, so the 5 of us that were on this advisory team could survive. So in addition to helping them with their military parts of it, and we got, I don't know for sure how it happened, but somebody higher up found out that I was interested in agriculture, and we were down in the 4 Corps, which is rice paddies, just nothing but rice paddies, just like here, you know, cornfield after cornfield, rice paddies after rice paddies. So through connections, you know, military always has connections, and we got hooked up with some Navy people, again, traded some black pajamas, traded some AK-47s, war artifact stuff for a tractor. And so this brand new Kubota tractor went on their, replaced their water buffalo. And so the village chief thought I could walk on water after getting a tractor and a little disc tillage tool type thing. Then the next thing was we found out about Miracle Rice. Miracle Rice was a new breed of rice, a new hybrid that had been developed but not widely distributed yet. And its claim to fame was like 2 or 3 times the yield of their ordinary rice that the women put the plugs in every year out there. So we got them some Miracle Rice. They had more tonnage, more bushels of rice than they ever had before. So we were really, the 5 of us were really put up on a throne. And enjoyed that part, working with the villagers and helping them out. I really like that.
Hi, my name is Sophie DeRusa. Veterans Day means to me is giving tribute and thanking those brave men and women who fought for our country so that we can remain the great place that we are today.
It's an interesting place to be out there. It's kind of a Wild West, but one of the more interesting things about my deployment was like being overseas is like you're in this place that they call it the land between the two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, where we were at, where Baghdad is basically now at. And so they call that the land between the two rivers is kind of where they say the Garden of Eden exists. And so you're talking about the cusp of human existence, where all human civilization kind of blossomed out of. So it was kind of jaw-dropping for some little Hoosier like me to be able to go to one of the most historic places on earth and just kind of experience that. And you could really feel the weight, not only of where you're at and what you're doing, but there is a sense of awe in learning about the cultures and learning about some of the things that these people have gone through, but also understanding where they're coming from. And so that was really rewarding for me.
So over there, we were not in a huge base by any means. There was only 100 of us probably at any given time. We were stationed with some active duty guys. I lived in a wooden shed with a tin roof for almost the entire time I was there. We take a lot of things for granted back here: running water, showers, a nice bed to sleep in, things like that. I'm not a big fan of camping anymore because of that. So if anyone wants to go camping, that is not my thing. I'm going to a hotel room because I want a bed to sleep in, and air conditioning, and water, all that kind of stuff. But overseas, it was definitely an experience. Kind of opened your eyes to how the other parts of the world live, because Afghanistan's like a third world country where we're at. They didn't have running water necessarily. They didn't have a power grid, so they didn't have reliable power, no roads, just the little things. Back, living in Kentland, I go out and do my little runs around town, doing my exercising. You can't do that over in Afghanistan without the fear of, getting shot, at least over there. It's much safer here than something like that over there.
Veterans Day means to me, it is to acknowledge those who have sacrificed their lives for the American people to live better ones every day.
What it means to me is to appreciate everything they've done for the country, and growing up in a family that really has had a bunch of people in the Army, it means a lot.
There's a lot of pride that I never used to have that I do now since, being in the military and coming out of it. I see it now. I understand what Veterans Day is all about now. I understand what that flag means.
Yep.
I understand the pride.
Sacrifice.
And it's like, it gives me chills just saying that. And I know it sounds silly, but it does.
It's kind of confusing that
It's honorable.
when you said pride. When we got out of high school, we had pride.
Yeah.
And it's just that when you join the Army and everything like that,
it's a different
you don't
brotherhood.
realize how much pride you can feel, and you just feel lucky.
Yeah.
I'm a Veteran by Andrea Christian Brett. You may not know me the first time we meet. I'm just another you see on the street. But I am the reason you walk and breathe free. I am the reason for your liberty.
I work in the local factory all day. I own the restaurant just down the way. I sell your insurance. I start your IV. I've got the best looking Greek kids you'll ever see.
I'm your grocer, your banker, your child school teacher. I'm your plumber, your barber, your family's preacher.
I joined the service while still in my teens. I traded my prom dress for camouflage greens. I'm the first in my family to do something like this. I followed my father like he followed his.
Defying my fear and hiding my doubt, I married my sweetheart before I shipped out. I missed Christmas and Easter, the birth of my son, but I knew I was doing what had to be done.
I served on the battlefront, I served on the base, I bound up the wounded and begged for God's grace. I gave orders to fire, I followed commands, I marched into conflict in far distant lands.
In the jungle, the desert, on the mountains and shores, in bunkers and tents on dank earthen floors. While I fought on the ground, in the air, on the sea, my family and friends were home praying for me.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave, I faced my demons and foxholes and caves. Then one dreaded day, without a drummer or fife, I lost my arm, my buddy lost his life.
I came home and moved on, but forever was changed. The preludes of the war and my memory remain. I don't really say much, I don't feel I can, but I left from a child, came home a man.
There are thousands like me, thousands more who are gone, but their legacy lives as time marches on. White crosses and rows and names carved in queue remind us of what these brave souls had to do.
I'm part of a fellowship, a strong-made band, of each man and each woman, twice served this great land. And when old glory waves, I stand proud, I stand tall. I help keep her flying over you, over all.
I spent 3.5 years on the Coral Sea. When I got on the Coral Sea, I worked on the flight deck and I worked below decks. I worked in the lab, the pump room, the filter room, and of course the flight deck. I worked flight deck control, where you take care of the fueling of every jet on the ship. Sometimes on the flight deck it could get pretty scary. Not everything went as planned. It had its moments, and some of it was totally unbelievable. I watched jets crash. I watched people die. Not all of it was glamour, not all of it was good, but we did what we had to do, and we served our country to the best we could. In my 3.5 years on the Coral Sea, we had conflicts with Iran, Libya, and the Grenada. Like I said, not all of it was fun. And I got to see a lot of countries that I would have never got to see in a lifetime. The one thing that was really nice about it is getting around to all the different countries and seeing all the people from different countries that you normally would never get to see.
Hi, I'm Livia Coleman. Veterans Day is a day to honor our veterans for serving for our country and to thank them for their service.
We floated to Vietnam. I floated over on a troop ship, the USNS Geiger. Took about 30 days to get there. All our equipment, our bulldozers, trucks, all our equipment and tools went over on another ship, and then there was one other ship that had all our materials, such as steel and wood and all that stuff, and it arrived before we did. So I was with the 34th Engineer Battalion in Fort Stewart and in Vietnam. We went over as a unit, so everybody knew what everybody was capable of, what we could do, what we couldn't do, and all that stuff. In Vietnam, we built, basically, the biggest project was the helicopter hangars. We built 2 in Phu Loy and 2 in Phuc Vinh. We had other projects besides that, but that was the main ones. I was ground man on a crane. I was the guy that told the crane operator up, down, left, right, all that stuff. And when we didn't need a crane, I was driving a dump truck. And I did that for 8 months in Vietnam. And some genius decided that since we went over there together, we was all going to go home together, and they couldn't have that. So they started to split us up. And when I got split up, I went TDY, that's temporary duty, to the 27th Land Clearing Team, which is Rome Plow Dozers, and I have some pictures there of that. And that was really hot. I mean, we was getting fired on all the time. You could sit on that bulldozer and watch RPG rounds come right in on you. And it was rough. We moved hard, we moved fast, ate nothing but sea rations. Water was rationed. It was a mess, but we got into it. We got into where we wanted to do it. If we couldn't do it, we felt sad about it because we wanted to get out there and get it done. And my last duty station was at Tay Ninh. It's over by the Cambodian border, and they call it the Black Virgin Mountain. And the odd part about the Black Virgin Mountain was that we held the top. We had communication antennas and communication station on top. We held the bottom. We was going to build a stone quarry there. They got it built, but after I left. But we was clearing the land for the stone quarry and the roads in and out of it. We held the bottom. The VC held the middle, and we couldn't get them out. We threw everything we could at them, and we could not get them out. But in that, I have felt the heat of a napalm strike. Got into Agent Orange, and it was tough. But we made it out of there all right, and that's when I come home, was right out of Tay Ninh.
Hi, I'm Avalyn Bullinger. To me, Veterans Day means to celebrate and honor our veterans who fought for our freedom in this country.
It's a pretty good time as far as the people taking and observing the fact that many guys and women went to the service to serve our country. When we went in during Vietnam, we weren't very popular. We had a lot of people that didn't like the fact that the United States was involved in this war, and so they didn't. When we came back, there was no pomp and circumstance. There was no parades or nothing like that. You just came back and found a job and went to work. That's so now with Veterans Day, that people recognize that the armed forces are doing a job for all the people of the United States and of the world, and that people respect that. And for us, from our era, it's really kind of heartfelt that people are actually recognizing the service that we did do.
You know, it's like whenever Taps used to play when, you know, the soldiers died, I never thought anything about it. Man, now it puts tears in my eyes.
Yep.
Because I understand the sacrifice that they gave. And you know, even though we're giving a sacrifice, it don't mean that we're going to be in fighting a war. You're sacrificing your time just being in the Army, serving to be in case something does come up again and you're ready to go. Veterans Day is, man, I really don't know how to put it into words. Go ahead. I'm going to cry.
No, it's overwhelming, and it's hard to put into words. But once you become part of this brotherhood and sisterhood, it's just you just feel honored to be a part of so many other people that are just the most wonderful people you'll ever meet in your life.
Veterans, you'll find this. We typically don't celebrate our service because the service alone was worth it, and we don't ask for thanks. We do it because we were called to do it. So for me, Veterans Day is a day that I usually take off, and I celebrate for two main reasons. One, I celebrate all of the freedoms that we serve to protect, it's the diversity of our nation. It's being able to have these conversations with you guys, to be able to have differing opinions. It's to be able to come together in our differences and enjoy that. So Veterans Day for me is just kind of a personification of what we protect. And so rather than looking at other veterans and thanking them for their service, I take Veterans Day to be reminded that we still live in the greatest country on earth. And through our service, we're able to do the things that we're able to do. And the second is to kind of, I have a ritual where I get together with a couple buddies and we open up a few beers, and one of them will leave to the side. And I know that that's more of a Memorial Day thing, but here in Indiana, Memorial Day is always a celebration. You got the race, you got all this other stuff that's happening. It's usually, beer and barbecue on Memorial Day. So you don't really have much time to do that. So I take Veterans Day. It's, it's colder. It's a little bit more dreary and not that great outside. So it's kind of a somber moment for me to recognize those that have come before me. And I guess in that respect, I do show appreciation for others who have served, because if it wasn't for them doing their service, I wouldn't have been able to serve in this capacity as well. And so it's a really good chance for me to really reflect on those that did serve before me and then made that ultimate sacrifice.
That's a real good question. What's it mean to me? It's taking time to honor those that have served, and especially those that gave the ultimate. I know Memorial Day is maybe more associated with that, but I kind of like to think that Veterans Day is when you honor those that some gave a little, some gave a lot, some gave all, and so that's it's a time to reminisce and hold true to yourself and share with others, what our freedoms really mean and our independence, the cost that's associated with that as well, but to keep the virtues and to keep the standards that we enjoy as Americans alive, and to carry on to other generations, future generations.
Don't forget the fallen. Some of us, we gave a little, but the fallen gave it all. Don't forget them. Never forget them.